most recent update to Black Ops 3 gave us some stuff as a part of the Days of Summer and some July contraband that some people really love to get their hands on, but necessarily don't always have that chance to. Myself included, I personally did not end up getting the KVK 99M out of supply drops, despite it being one of my top weapons that I want now on that list of weapons that I've yet to add to my armory. But with its recent introduction into Black Ops 3, how does it stack up and compare to the original Black Ops 2 AN-94? That was a fan favorite weapon and was something that was a powerhouse, so how does this then compare in Black Ops 3? Does it still stand the test of time as being the rightful heir to the AN-94, or does it put a little bit of a damper on the legacy that is the weapon? In this video, we're going to be breaking it down a little bit, showing you guys a little bit of comparison between the two, and then breaking it down, giving you guys the ultimatum here on what I believe if it stands up to the legacy of the AN or not. So that said, once again, it is a brand new weapon within supply drops, or rather earlier this week it was brand new. I guess not now, we can't say it's brand new, just relatively new. But how you end up attaining these was previously in Black Ops 2, you had to get to the maxed rank of a prestige, that being level 55, and the AN-94 would be unlocked for you. Now, it's just dumb RNG luck. Some people are super lucky, get it first try, some people like me will never end up getting it. So it depends on where you fall within that spectrum. So as for the power rankings, if you want to put it that way, in terms of weapon attributes and statistics, the big four to me are ADS speed, fire rate, recoil, and reload. At least on this weapon, the ones that are really the definitive characteristics here with this. The ADS on the KVK is roughly 1/3 of a second, which, having matched up these comparison shots that you'll be seeing intermittently throughout the video, I end up starting it at the exact frame that the animations end up starting. So as you'll see by this one going back and forth here, you can see that the KVK on the right is just a tad slower on the ADS speed. So while publicly on the easy to access forums and information on the weapon statistics and all that for the AN-94 doesn't necessarily give a definitive answer for what the ADS speed is, for at least what I found of the intents and purposes of this video. But once again, you'll see that the KVK is just slightly slower here with this. As for the fire rate, that's another big one that a lot of people will definitely want to know about and take a look at in the comparison. How does it stack up? How many bullets can it shoot per minute? And that's something where the KVK is falling behind at a staggering rate almost, where if you look at it, it doesn't look like all that much, but if you end up doing it once again over that entire minute that these statistics are calculated out of, you'll end up being able to fire almost an entire magazine more with the AN-94 than the KVK. The KVK's fire rate is roughly right around 600 RPM, give or take a couple of shots here and there, just based off the milliseconds that it was after the second in which that I was ending up calculating. It was like 3 seconds and I believe 4 or 5 milliseconds afterwards where the entire magazine was emptied. But if you take a look at that comparable 600 RPM for the fire rate to the AN-94, that is 625 RPM, with the first 2 shots in multiplayer and zombies actually being 937 for those first 2, and then it drops down. So once again, you're firing almost an entire magazine more at that point over the course of a minute if you were to be able to end up just holding down the trigger and taking the raw fire intervals out of that. So there are some variables, yes, to keep in mind with how that actually works, but as you'll see once again by the comparison, it's just a tad slower once again compared to the AN-94. And another big thing with this that the AN-94 is absolutely known for is the recoil. It's still absolutely ridiculously low, and again, as you'll see with the fire tests, this is pretty much the same level that they end up going up vertically and kind of dragging off a little bit once again. So the recoil properties seem to be almost identical just based off of pure inspection at that point in time. I didn't go into Photoshop or anything like that to end up going pixel by pixel, seeing how much more there was on one or the other, but once again, from that basic perspective, it does look exactly the same. Now, as for the reload, this is once again kind of intriguing to me because once again, you'll see that the KVK falls behind just so slightly, but it's enough to make it noticeable. The shots will end up in the comparison video side by side, shooting off at the same time, and you'll see that the KVK is just once again a hair slower on that recocking and readying up for the next shots. So with both of these being dry weapons with no attachments on them, it's intriguing to me to see that once again it just falls behind and kind of continues that theme of being not necessarily as good in some of these properties as compared to the AN-94, but of course in certain situations you'll be able to notice it more than others. Now, of course, the biggest property that everybody wants to know is the damage. To me, I think this is almost exactly the same. I didn't, once again, have complete access to it in terms of the KVK version, simply because nobody's really broken it down into sheer numbers and pinpointed damage number at certain ranges and things like that. So admittedly, it's a relative generalization, but to me, it seems like they kill in just about the same time. The damage seems relatively consistent with that of the AN-94, but where it kind of ends up to me being an advantageous weapon, where I might actually even prefer the Black Ops 3 version a little bit more, and that's completely wiping out, obviously not statistically, but kind of disregarding those statistics that we just mentioned, in which the KVK outclasses the original AN-94, is the fact that the Black Ops 3 KVK, I feel, has much better mobility. And it's something that might be a little bit of a placebo effect. It might be something that is totally in my head, but I feel like the AN-94 in Black Ops 2 is a lot bulkier and therefore kind of adds to a slower playstyle. And perhaps that is once again just an overall generalization of Black Ops 2 compared to Black Ops 3 in general, the movement speed there within, but it's something that I feel like the AN-94 in Black Ops 2 takes up more of your first-person perspective, and as a result just kind of gets in the way a little bit more. Perhaps this is once again completely crazy, but I do genuinely enjoy the KVK in Black Ops 3 for that reason. Outside of that, I don't necessarily know if you can end up saying yes or no definitively if it stands up the test of time that the AN-94 has set in place to be this great weapon, but with some of these attributes once again falling behind the AN-94, I think it's a great reintroduction, but I don't know if it necessarily lives up to the legacy of the AN-94. Does it come close? Absolutely. But is it the AN-94 entirely? Not necessarily, but hopefully you guys enjoy this little comparison. Once again, I think it's still a very viable weapon, and if you end up getting it, definitely play around with it because it's a thing of beauty. It's fantastic. I wish I had it, and I'm incredibly jealous if you guys do, but hopefully you guys enjoy this comparison. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think about it? Do you think it stacks up well with the AN-94? Do you think it, once again, is kind of a stain on that legacy of the AN-94? Or what are your thoughts on it in general? Love to hear your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Feel free to drop whatever. If you guys enjoyed the video though, make sure you drop a like down below, and of course if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Black Ops 3, both multiplayer and Zombies with Zombies Chronicles, World War II with Zombies and multiplayer there as well, Modern Warfare Mastered, Infinite Warfare, all that good stuff we got you covered here up on the channel. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that is the best place to get connected with me outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said, now that we hope you guys on a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Mine's been Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.